What's up, Interweb? Raikkonen here, and welcome to my team analysis video for week 10 of the PPL. This week we're playing Slyroh of the Pittsburgh Pyroar, and this is going to be a very tough match. For those of you who don't know what is going on with the PPL and all that stuff, links will be in the description to the PPL, the Pokemon Premier League, and you can find out information about all of that jazz. It's a draft-based league like any other, except ours is the best because it's awesome. We are in week 10, is the penultimate week. We have one more week after this, and because of our loss last week, we're now in 10th place on the table. And we do not want to be finishing in 10th place. The first relegation spot has been decided. That is, Evelyn and the Herdia Bremen are guaranteed to be relegated next season, regardless of their remaining two results. However, the last remaining relegation spot and the playoff match spot are still yet to be decided, and that is not a good playoff match spot, that is a relegation playoff match spot. That is yet to be decided. We are currently sitting in that relegation match playoff spot, and I do not want to be finishing that. I do not want to play in that match because there is going to be way too much pressure and I don't want to deal with it. But if worst comes to worst, I'd much rather take that and have the chance to stay in Division 1 than finish in 11th and be guaranteed relegated to Division 2 next season. So, we're going to do all we can to try and make sure that we can pull off a win this week and next week to put us in the best possible stance we can be to not finish in 10th. It's not guaranteed. Even if we win this week and next week, it's not guaranteed we're going to move out of 10th. It depends on other results as well, if the results go our way. So it's not looking good for NPR, for the Nidoqueens Warriors. It's not looking good for us, but we'll make do, and we'll see how it goes. So, as I said before, this week we're playing Slyroh, the Pittsburgh Pyroar. He has a pretty scary team, and I was feeling okay about it until he made a couple of trades, and now he has a couple of other mons in there that I'm not happy to see. But let's take a look at what Slyroh can potentially be bringing. My team, though, first. NPR, for those of you who don't know, the Nidoqueens Park Rangers, my team. The potential ones I can bring to this game are Hydreigon, Mandibuzz, Mamoswine, Whimsicott, Tentacruel, Infinite, Rotomo, Azelf, and Steelix. The potential ones that Slyroh can be bringing to this match, the Pittsburgh Pyroar, are Scizor, Gardevoir, Kyurem, Greninja, that's Torrent Greninja, not Protean, Kecleon, Meloetta, Rotom Heat, Scrafty, and Tangela. Now you notice Rotom Heat and Scrafty we've already played before. That was against RTK and the Portland Timbers. He did actually make a trade with them. He traded him Conkeldurr and Lantern for Rotom Heat and Scrafty. Not happy to see Rotom Heat again or Scrafty. Those of you who remember my match against RTK, Scrafty did a thing and stuff against us and it wasn't fun. Meloetta is bulk personified and I don't like it. Greninja is a massive problem to my team. Scizor's a powerhouse. Kyurem is an absolute pain, and it was last season as well against Slyroh. He had Kyurem last season and it was an absolute pain against me, so you know. Anywho, so his team is very annoying, and one thing that's very, very annoying against my team, Greninja can get 100% perfect coverage, and he doesn't even need... he could do it in 4 moves. It depends, because he can get pretty much perfect coverage aside from one Mon, but that Mon's so frail anyway that doesn't really matter. All he needs to run, Scald, Ice Beam, Dark Pulse, and Extra Sensory. And he has 100% perfect coverage on my team. So Scald and Ice Beam hits everything super effectively apart from Azelf and Tentacruel. And so he can have the Extra Sensory for Tentacruel and the Dark Pulse for Azelf. I don't think he needs Dark Pulse because Azelf is kind of frail anyway. But that's up to him, I guess. I don't expect him to be packing Low Kick this week for Steelix because Scald already hits it anyway. So, but I 100% expect the Greninja because it is an absolute problem for my team. It outspeeds everything naturally, and as I said, it hits everything super effectively with the combination of Scald, Ice Beam, Extra Sensory, and Dark Pulse. So I fully expect that. I'm expecting a Timid Life Orb set from Greninja, Scald, Ice Beam, Dark Pulse, and Extra Sensory. That would be the team I'm expecting. So let's figure out what team I'm bringing against Slyroh. Shout out to Berkeley90 for helping me team build this week. You're the best. Although, you're also a poop face, but you know, whatever. So let's get into the first mon on this team. The first mon is Fire Monkey the Infinite, and this Infinite is Max Attack, Max Speed, Adamant, with Mach Punch, Fire Punch, Close Combat, and U-Turn, holding the Muscle Band. Now, One thing that's really, really nice about his team is I can spam close combat over everything. His only resistance to it is Gardevoir. Now, I could be packing Gunk Shot on it to try and catch that Gardevoir on a switch-in. Apologies if you can hear those sirens. I could be packing Gunk Shot on this Infinite so I can try and hit that Gardevoir. I don't want to. One, because I've been relying on Gunk Shot twice and it's let me down twice. So I don't want to do that. And also the fact that a Fire Punch from Infinite still has a chance to KO Gardevoir anyway. It will, unless it's physically defensive. If it's like an offensive Gardevoir, I will kill it with the combination of Close Combat and Fire Punch. So that's fine. That's fine by me. The only problem with him being offensive is he's most likely going to be Scarfed and therefore outspeed us, so you know. But if I can get some chip damage, he can take a Close Combat, followed by a Fire Punch, and that will hopefully take him out. But yeah, that's the reason I'm not packing Gunk Shot, because I don't want to miss again. Screw missing, man. Screws me over too many times. But it's quite nice coverage for his team. Fire Punch obviously hitting the Sizzle and the Tangela. And then Fighting really does a number on his team with Greninja, Kyurem, Kecleon, although Kecleon can change type, especially with something like Shadow Sneak. And U-Turn hits the Meloetta as well, which is nice. So Rotom Heat takes obviously neutral from fighting, plus I can just spam close combat over basically anything aside from the Gardevoir. Mach Punch is, of course, mainly for the Greninja, because Greninja is a massive, massive problem for my team, so I need an offensive check to it. That's Infinite. Mach Punch, I believe if Greninja's taken Stealth Rocks, it kills it. Obviously, if it's uninvested, if it's, like, you know, an offensive Greninja like I'm expecting, Timid Life Orb set, that will kill it. So, or if he's taken, like, one lot of Life Orb recoil, I can come with Infinite, but I can scare him out every single time, which is nice. But obviously, if you're trying to do a Greninja, you can't just have an offensive check, you need an actual switch-in. This is where this next one comes in. The next one on this team is LL Cruel J, the Tentacruel. And, excuse me, the investment on this Tentacruel, it is max HP, 56 in defense, and 200 in special defense with a Calm Nature, holding the Black Sludge. Obviously 0 IVs in attack to potentially take the foul play from no one on his team, not the point. And his moves are Scald, Giga Drain, Rest, and Sleep Talk. Yes, I'm bringing a Rest-talking Tentacruel. So like I said, he can pack Extra Sensory on his Greninja to try and take on Tentacruel. Extra Sensory is a 3-hit KO on this Tentacruel from that Timid Life Orb set that I'm expecting. Extra Sensory is a 3-hit KO. And if I can get the rolls with Giga Drain, it's going to be doing a really nice amount of damage to that Greninja. Obviously, because it can't change type, it's staying Water type, so Giga Drain is going to do a nice amount. Originally, I was going to have Scald and Knockoff, then I realized that's going to do absolutely nothing to a Greninja, so I wanted Giga Drain just to be to potentially try and get some damage off on it. And I want Black Sludge just for a little bit of longevity if I can. It might help if, like, I don't know, if he flinches me with Extra Sensory, it might just give me enough HP to live another one and give me another chance to try and, you know, get a rest off or get a Sleep Talk roll and get a Giga Drain, for example. So that's what this Tentacruel is. Literally my only answer to a Greninja. That is literally it. I have nothing else on this team other than Tentacruel to try and take on Greninja. It is a massive, massive problem against my team, and this is the only thing I have to deal with it. If Tentacruel goes down, Greninja just runs all over me. I don't have a switch-in. There is nothing on my team that can switch into it, and it outspeeds everything naturally. So I'd have to try and get my prediction game on point and getting Infinite, or just have to sack something off to get an Infinite to try and scare it out with a Mach Punch. But like I said, he has a switch in the form of Gardevoir, which can take fighting hits really well, especially if that thing's Scarfed, it can outspeed me the following turn, etc, etc, etc. So Greninja's a problem. I cannot let Tentacruel go down, basically, to Greninja. I just can't do it. So, that is LL Cruel J, the Tentacruel. Next one on this team is Pokinope the Mamoswine. And this Mamoswine is holding the Focus Sash with Oblivious, Max Attack, Max Speed, Jolly, 4 in Defense, with Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Knockoff, and Rock Slide. Now, this Mamoswine is my lead. It's my Sash lead to try and get up rocks. Its EQ hits quite a lot of things. It hits nothing super effectively, but it kind of runs over him a little bit. I say runs over him. It hits a lot of things neutrally. His only resist on his team, I believe, is Tangela, and he has the Rotom Heat, which is Levitating, so it won't hit that. But But other than that, it hits everything neutrally, which is nice, and coming from, you know, a max attack, even if it's jolly, a max attack Mamoswine is still pretty damn powerful, which is nice. Knockoff is just kind of there to potentially knock off some items. If he wants to switch in the Tangela, if he brings that against me, I can knock off his Eviolite, which would be fantastic. And Rock Slide is for that switch into Rotom Heat, which I think will be his switch in. Obviously, it's resisted Ice Stab, and he's immune to the Ground Stab, so I'd expect the switch into Rotom Heat. Rock Slide's potentially there to catch it on that, if he chooses to bring it in. If for whatever reason he doesn't bring it in on the turn I'm setting up rocks, because I will be setting up rocks first turn, his only form of hazard removal is Scizor, which is very nice actually, because if he brings something like a banded Scizor, he's going to have to lock himself with the Defog, and I can play around that, which is going to be really, really nice. So that's what I'm hoping for, is that he brings an offensive one, I think, and locks himself into Defog. That'd be nice. So the rocks are there. I have to get chip damage on this team. Absolutely 100% have to get chip damage. It's going to be so important, especially against the likes of Rotom Heat and Kyurem. I really need that chip damage on them. It's going to be so, so important. It's going to turn a lot of rolls in my favour. So I need those rocks up, which is why I'm going with the Sashed Mamoswine in this match. He's there to die, basically. He's there to get up rocks and die. That's pretty much it. Knockoff's there just in case, and Rock Slide just in case. That's pretty much it. He's just there to get up rocks and just do damage before he dies, basically. That's all this Mamoswine's there for. So, he's just there to get up rocks. They're going to be important. Next one on this team is 3000 Years Will, the Azelf. And this has 44 in HP, max special attack, 212 in speed with a modest nature, holding the Expert Belt, obviously 0 IVs in attack again, with Dazzling Gleam, Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, and Toxic. Now, this Azelf set, it has near perfect coverage on his team. I say near perfect, not quite, but it has very good coverage for his team. It has Flamethrower for Tangela and for Scizor, Shadow Ball for the Gardevoir, Dazzling Gleam for Kyurem, Greninja, and Scrafty. The things I don't hit, Kecleon, Meloetta, Rotom Heat, none of them appreciate being poisoned. So that's my plan. Whatever he wants to switch in, I have something to hit it with. And I outspeed everything naturally, aside from the Greninja, and of course, any Scarfers. So that's basically what this Azelf thought, just to try and punch some holes. Expert Belt, of course, going to be increasing the damage output of a few of these moves. And I have just enough speed to outspeed a max speed Kyurem. So that's nice. And he's just going to be there to punch some holes. Like I said, he has pretty good coverage for his team. He's going to be hitting pretty damn hard. Max special attack, Modest Azelf. It's pretty powerful. I don't have Stab because it doesn't do anything to his team. It doesn't hit any mon super effectively. And he has 2 immunities in Greninja and Scrafty. So there's no point bringing Stab this week. Yeah, that's pretty much what Azelf's there for, just to punch holes. Penultimate one on this team. Penultimate one is Shield the Hydreigon. This guy has 20 EVs in HP, max special attack, 236 in speed with a timid nature, holding the Wise Glasses, of course, with Levitate. And this guy has Flash Cannon, Dark Pulse, Draco Meteor, and Flamethrower. Now, this guy has pretty good coverage for his team once again. I have the Draco Meteor, which hits everything hard, plus it hits the Kyurem, and I outspeed it. That's what that speed investment's for, just enough speed to outspeed a max speed Kyurem. I have Flash Cannon for the Gardevoir switch-in, I have Dark Pulse for Meloetta, and I have Flamethrower for Scizor and Tangela. His 2 main switch-ins to a Draco Meteor are going to be Gardevoir and Scizor, plus Kecleon can take 2, which is really, really annoying. But yeah, his 2 main switch-ins are probably going to be Gardevoir and Scizor. I have Flash Cannon for the Gardevoir, Flamethrower for Scizor, yay, pretty much. So if I got my prediction hat on, hopefully I can get some nice predictions, and hopefully I can take out a few of his mons with a couple of nice predictions. And I outspeed a lot of things on his team. In fact, the only thing that outspeeds me, naturally, is Greninja. Basically, Sly has Greninja, which is like super rapid quick, which outspeeds everything on my team. But after that, his next quickest mon is Kyurem, with base 95 speed. And a lot of my mons are between that range of that 95 to 122 that he has going on. A lot of my mons are in between that range, so I'll outspeed everything aside from Greninja or Scarfers. So that's fine. But speaking of Scarfers, the last mon on this team is Rotom Lamo, the Rotom Mo, with Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Will-O-Wisp, and Shadow Ball. Now, This might seem like an odd one to bring because I basically have no moves to hit any of his mons super effectively, aside from Thunderbolt on Greninja and Shadow Ball on the Gardevoir. That's it. None of the other mons on his team get hit super effectively, but, like I said, chip damage on this team is going to be crucial, absolutely crucial to get chip damage on this team. It's going to allow something like Infinite to come in, and then it allows me to spam close combat willy-nilly. I can just spam it all over the place and put things in range where like I can knock them out with a close combat and Mach Punch combo or whatever. So chip damage, stealth rocks, and volt switching over his team is going to be amazing. I'll outspeed everything that isn't scarfed, and even potentially if they're Rotom Heat scarfed, it will be, I don't know if it's a speed type. Did I have max speed timid? I can't even remember. 212 in speed timid was this set. Did I even say 44 on HP, max special attack, and 212 in speed timid? It's enough speed to outspeed a Scarf Gardevoir, which is very possible. I could see him bringing that, a Scarf Gardevoir to this match, so I want enough speed to outspeed that. Obviously I have Shadow Ball to hit that as well. Scarfed Will-O-Wisp on his team is going to be nice. It can come in clutch against something like, I don't know, a Scizor. And of course I do resist that Bullet Punch, which is nice. Can also, you know, Willow the Kecleon, or, you know, the Scrafty if it's getting out of hand, if it doesn't have Shed Skid, if it has Moxie or whatever. Potentially Willow any of those things if they're getting out of hand, if they're becoming too much of a threat. Just Willow it and neuter them, which will be nice. As I said, Shadow Ball for the Gardevoir, and just Volt Switching over his entire team is going to be fantastic. He doesn't have a ground type, he has nothing to stop a Volt Switch coming in, no electric immunity whatsoever. I'm just going to Volt Switch all over him. That's the idea. And then of course Thunderbolt, I outspeed a non-scarfed Greninja, and I'm expecting a non-scarfed Greninja because I'm expecting that timid Life Orb set like I've been hammering on about so many times. So I'll outspeed it and I can kill it with a Thunderbolt. I didn't feel a need to bring Leaf Storm to this week because it doesn't hit anything. The only thing it hits super effectively is Greninja, which I already hit with Thunderbolt, so there's no point in that whatsoever. There's no point in me scarfing myself into Leaf Storm when it's going to lower my special attack and I can't spam it. I can freely spam the Thunderbolt as much as I like. Like I said, he has no electric immunity, so I can spam that all I like. I can't spam Leaf Storm, which is why I'm not bringing it. But that is going to be the team, so I hope you guys like this team. And I hope you guys are looking forward to the game. Hopefully it should be uploaded tomorrow. This should be up on Friday. Hopefully the match will be up Saturday. That's the idea. I'm about to battle Sly in a little while. As soon as I'm done recording this, I'm going to record my pre-game speech, and I'm going to head on and do the battle straight away. So I'm a bit nervous, but hey-ho, we'll see how it goes. We kind of have to win this week. We have to win this week, and next week, if we don't, we're getting relegated. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough. So, that is going to be it for the team analysis. I hope you guys like this team, and hope you guys are looking forward to the match, and I shall see you guys in the match. Toodaloo.